My name is Jeff Chittister. I'd like to welcome you here to the State of the Union viewing party. Sorry it's late, but like many of President Obama's policies, they're as late as well. We're going to have a few speakers talk to you just really very quickly, and then we have a very special guest we're going to introduce you to in just a few minutes. So what I'd like to do first is I'd like to introduce you to your first speaker. We know it's Pam Tucker. Pam Tucker served as the state representative in New Hampshire's House for over 6 years, still does, when she was elected in 2008. She has served on the House Commerce and Consumer Affairs Committee, Rules Committee, co-chaired the House Republican Alliance, and was the secretary of the New Hampshire House Republican Victory PAC. From 2010 to 2012, Pam served as the House Deputy Speaker. It was during that time that Pam played a vital role in helping return fiscal sanity and effective governance back to New Hampshire. She prefers to be addressed as Pam. She'll answer to Representative Tucker. But for those of us who know her, and we know her very well in New Hampshire, we like to call her New Hampshire's Margaret Thatcher, our Iron Lady, Pam Tucker.
Thank you very much. Do I have to hold it up here? Yes, you do, to hear me. Thank you all for coming here. I want to talk a little bit about the governorship and what it is. If you think about it in a business sense, it's really the CEO of the state. It's the person who's in charge, who takes responsibility for the actions of the state and where the state is going. And it's not something that should be taken way too lightly. If you look at our current governor, there's no new accomplishments out there. No growth, no new policies to help our citizens. But we have seen a couple things. We've seen a couple failed initiatives, such as a budget based on false hopes. Think about it when we put gambling in there. It wasn't even legal, but that's how we're going to balance the budget. And we've seen support for more of the DC takeovers of our state through Common Core and through other things like Medicaid expansion and Obamacare. We've also seen something, much to my dismay, is a disrespect for our political system by calling special sessions to try and pass bills instead of going through the tried and true procedures that we've done. But we need someone to turn this around. We need someone who knows how to get things done, who's done it, and who's been there, and who will do it for our state. And I truly believe that Andrew Hemingway is the person for that job. He's a confident guy. He's confident, he has the energy, and he's going to change the direction of the do-nothing and the lack of activity in our state. I really look forward to working with him next year. Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. Thanks, Pam. This next guest, we know him as a former state senator here in New Hampshire. He also helped serve during that time, 2010-2012, in which we brought fiscal sanity back to the state, or what we like to refer to it as a fiscal renaissance, something is sorely lacking in Concord right now. Jim Luther has worked as an investment and money management. In the past, Jim has helped Fortune 500 clients and large New England companies. Clients included such firms as IBM, Kodak, McGraw-Hill, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Jim has also served as a part-time pastor at Grace Fellowship Church in Nashua. Jim is currently the host of a popular radio show called Intersections, heard on WSMN 1590. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Jim Luther.
Good evening. This is the place to be, isn't it? Well, it's my privilege to be here. So I know why I'm here tonight. Why are you here tonight? You know why you're here? I know. Yes. Yes. Well, for me, we cannot continue the current status quo that the current occupant of the governor's office wants to extend. And what are some of those things that she wants to extend? Let's just short list 3 items. Poor fiscal management, always wearing rose-colored glasses when there are real challenges facing our state, and driven by an ideology that is destructive where there are real challenges facing our state. Now, this is what she said in a recent speech. This is her actual words. New Hampshire stands at the threshold of a bright new future. Boy, doesn't this sound great? We are as well positioned as any state in economic growth that will lift all our people and define the 21st century. Man, this sounds great. We have the capacity to be the most innovative, to have the best workforce and the most forward-looking economy in the nation, and to foster the kind of business innovation that will create jobs. Now, that's rose-colored glasses. And she says, we must lead the way. Now, let's look at reality. We need a governor who's willing to take on the big challenges, which she has not done. And this is the reality of her current administration. It's clear that Hassan has no plan to do that. What she will do is paint pretty and fanciful pictures in words. Here's a few examples. She said she would create a balanced budget that encourages job creation and economic growth. Ha! Now, let's look balanced budget. I believe, and my colleague, Representative Tucker, spoke to this. She included almost $100 million in the budget from an illegal source of income. And oh, by the way, if she hadn't got that through, the income uncertainty would have still not happened in the 2 years, because it takes so long. Government sort of has to move along. And she, as far as the real budget, it was put together with toothpicks and rubber bands. And we saw, because that the gambling did not go through, this house of cards collapsed on itself. It is, yeah. Now, here's the deal. If she had been in private enterprise, I'm assuming most of you are in private enterprise, she would have been run out of town. No CEO operates like this. She would have been fired on the spot. So let's hope she's got a different plan. But if her mentor, the current titular head of the party, President Obama, two things. Now here's the great economic plan that they have. Increase the minimum wage. That's a great one, isn't it? And the other one is to extend unemployment insurance. This is just going to be gangbusters for the economy. Well, also what she wanted to do was add all this spending. Infrastructure, I believe that's called Keynesianism. And Keynesianism has shown to be totally busted. I could go on and on about fertility. So we got to look somewhere else for leadership, right? Yes. Yeah. Let's hear from you on this. Yeah. Man. Yeah, bro. That's right. So I'm almost done here. The last failed piece is this thing called Obamacare, which, by the way, any businesses here have more than 50 employees? Well, you're getting whacked, right? Yeah, you're down to 49. That's where you want to be on your number. Are you a medical device maker? You're going to get whacked. Many of you may have already lost your insurance. Yep. Now, is the governor doing anything for you? No, she's rooting on this person in D.C. who's maybe shoveling the snow out from the White House right now. Okay.
Like him, she doesn't care.
All right. So here's the deal. This is what we need. We need a person who's going to deal with the tough problems. Like, and Andrew wanted me to mention this. Do you realize that we are one of the worst states in the country as far as our pension amounts that we have? We only are at 58% funded. Now, we tried to deal with this when I was in office, and guess who stood in the way of this, who are the best friends of the governor? Any guesses? The unions. Now, do you think that the governor is going to try to deal with this during her current administration? No, because she is ideologically bound to this silliness that's going on. So we've got to get somebody else. And we look at the budget. We are not attracting new businesses because we have one of the toughest tax rates for businesses in the United States. Because again, she is bound to a spending-driven ideology. And you're going to hear from Andrew, he's got a fresh new approach to that. She's not going to change that. So we're not going to attract the kind of businesses that are looking for a more attractive tax rate. Do you know that Massachusetts is actually becoming almost more competitive than we are now as far as attracting businesses? What is the governor doing? Nothing. All right. So we need somebody different. How about a guy I know a guy. You know him too. He's wired and accomplished as a real-world problem solver. Every day he gets up and looks at the world around him and thinks about how things can be improved, made more efficient, and serve us and our neighbors more effectively. This guy is a realist. He doesn't wear rose-colored glasses. He's not a speech maker who just lives in the fantasy world. You see him solving problems, and he's facing reality every single day. Now, this is what I really like about him. He's the best combination of a problem solver, an optimist, and a pragmatist I've ever seen in a single individual. It's a fresh face. And I'll tell you what finally, what I love about Andrew Hemingway is the guy is a nice guy. Unlike the current occupant of the governor's office who has, just smile and you see the fangs. It's pretty tough. This guy is cordial, he is friendly, he is an optimist, and that is what we need. So let's go. Andrew Hemingway.
One more speaker. So this next speaker is Joe Kenny. Now Joe is as New Hampshire as New Hampshire comes. He's a dedicated public servant, a true patriot in the mold of John Stark. Those who know Joe know him to be a person of incredible integrity. He's humble, he's sincere, he's a devoted family man, and has at time and time again answered the call of his state and his country. Here's just a few of his accomplishments. Represented the 3rd District from 2002 to 2008 as a member of the New Hampshire Senate. Prior to that, Joe was a member of the New Hampshire House of Representatives from '94 until 2002. He ran for governor in 2008. We know him as Colonel Kenny. For over 30 years, he's a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps. He served in both Afghanistan and Iraq. Joe is currently running for the Executive Council to fill the vacant seat with the passing of his friend, Ray Burton. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a nice big round of applause to really a son of New Hampshire, Joe Kenny.
Thank you very much. I gotta tell you, I gotta thank Andrew for allowing me to be here tonight just to say a few words. And I'm gonna be the shortest speaker here tonight. But with all this, I just want to say, looking out here, I can see all the tremendous amount of support for Andrew. And it's going to be a great year for Andrew in 2014. Now, I want to first recognize a few people. Sean Doherty. Is Sean out there? Ooh, Sean was with me in 2008 along with Representative Casey Crane. And they were helping out with the efforts of Let's Keep New Hampshire, New Hampshire in 2008. And that was our slogan, and it's still our slogan. And together with Andrew and others, we're going to continue to keep New Hampshire, New Hampshire in 2014. Now, I got to tell you, Executive Council District 1 is about 70% of the state of New Hampshire geographically. It's a tough area to campaign in the middle of the winter. But I got to tell you, it's going to be, this election is a bellwether election for Republicans here in the state of New Hampshire. It's going to set the tone for the state and federal elections. And I've been working hard to earn the respect for the voters here during this primary process and now into the general election process. When we were campaigning, no one knew there was an election a day after Martin Luther King, January 21st. And people still don't know that 70% of the geographic area of March 11th, that there is a state election. I need your help. I need you to go to our website, kennyfornh.com, write us a check, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody in the North Country that there's a true conservative on the ballot in 2014 on March 11th that is going to set the tone for the rest of the Republican Party for the rest of the year so that we can keep New Hampshire, New Hampshire. want an executive counselor that's going to support liberal judges? No. Do you want an executive council that's going to support a gas tax increase? No. Or do you want an executive council who supports limited government? Yeah. I am that guy that supports limited government. Fiscal responsibility is a guy that's going to take on Michael Cryans, who's going to set the tone for the rest of the year for the Republican Party. And with your help and Andrew's help, we're going to set the tone to make sure that there's a Republican governor in the corner office that takes out my longtime colleague in the state Senate, Maggie Hassan. We're going to take her out. So with that, I'm not sure who I need to pass this mic over to, but I'm going to say we need a Republican governor in the corner office. We need him desperately. And I got to say, we're going to get there this year. And please, let's keep New Hampshire, New Hampshire. Thank you.
So why are you guys here tonight?
Andrew.
See Andrew, to see a change.
Yes.
See a different direction. To
Born
see
in
the
New
right
Hampshire, and I
direction.
say it every time I get in front of a group, how much I appreciate that. My parents wisely chose this state. My dad was from West Virginia, my mom was from Massachusetts. I was bred to be a liberal Democrat. But they decided to move all of us here and make sure each one of us was born in New Hampshire. My dad served in the military here and knew what New Hampshire meant. And this individual I'm going to introduce you to next also knows what New Hampshire means to all of us and what it can mean again to the country. Because when New Hampshire leads, we are a better country. And when we have a governor that leads from the front and not from behind, we're a better state. So the bio reads like this for Andrew. Andrew is a tech entrepreneur. Boy, is he that. He is great at that. And he's helped many of us understand how that is important in this day and age. He's a Republican activist and a native of New Hampshire. He's a vocal leader of the Republican ideals of the Granite State and has spent the past several years working to spread a message of fiscal restraint and individual freedoms.
Yes, that's Andrew! Yes! Yes!
Andrew is the founder and chief political innovator officer at the new company Grassroots, a web-based fundraising tool being used by Republican candidates across the country. That's what he does. He thinks where the problem is and he comes up with solutions. In the political realm, Andrew has served as the New Hampshire State Director for the Newt Gingrich presidential campaign. I served on that with him. He asked me to join. It was the most fun I had had on a campaign ever.
Till this one.
Okay. For those of you who might have missed this, but the rest of the country didn't, he organized the first ever U.S. presidential primary Twitter debate in 2011. It was great. And it showed what we can do when we think. And he successfully led, and this was wonderful, he successfully led the charge against the state LLC tax. Remember that? Yeah. Andrew got Democrats and Republicans together so that they could strengthen the business community. When not involving himself in political activities and running his businesses, Andrew enjoys time with his wife Katie and his two children Morgan and Connor at their home in Bristol.
Yay, Katie! Yay, Katie!
Ladies and gentlemen, this individual I'm going to introduce to you, many of you know him as a friend, many of you know him as a colleague, many of you have gotten to know him as a mentor, but very shortly this state is going to know him as the next governor of New Hampshire. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Andrew Hemingway.
You folks ready to take back New Hampshire? I'll tell you, I am sick and tired of Democrat policies wrecking this state and leaving more people unemployed, more people uninsured. I'm sick of it. And that's why I'm running for governor. And I'm happy and excited tonight to announce to you that I am officially declaring my candidacy for governor. I am running for governor because I believe that our state motto, live free or die, is much more than just a catchy marketing slogan. It's much more than just something we can stamp onto license plates. Rather, it is a statement of principle. It is woven into the very fabric of our state. We are the live free or die state.
That's right.
Woo! Yet today we find ourselves very far from where we started as a state. How far have we drifted from when General John Stark penned those words? Very far. Over the last 10 years, we have seen massive expansion of regulations, budgets, taxes. And we all know that when government expands, individual and economic freedom decrease.
That's right.
How did we go from the live free or die state to a state with some of the highest tax rates, some of the lowest test scores, and some of the highest insurance premiums in the country? How did this happen?
Bad management.
Very simply, we have allowed outside influences to determine our priorities. We have elected governors who have lacked the courage to challenge the status quo. Lobbyists, crony corporations, and the federal government have co-opted the corner office of New Hampshire. And our status quo governor is unwilling to challenge these forces, as she has her eyes set on a U.S. Senate seat and is going to need all the help that she can get. It is the responsibility of our governor to set responsibilities, to identify priorities, goals, and the direction of our state. And that's why tonight I am proposing a solutions-first platform. It's time we put solutions first and politics last. There are 3 specific areas that my platform will cover. They begin with patients first. A healthcare policy with a set of legislative proposals that will remove the bureaucrat from your doctor's office and put you, the patient, in control of your healthcare. A platform that will put your doctor to work for you and not for the insurance company. That rewards healthcare providers for clear, competitive pricing, that will incentivize innovation around treatments and medications, that will reward nonprofit healthcare providers who are serving the greater good by helping those who others won't. A healthcare platform that will reject federal dollars, federal priorities, and federal health insurance boondoggles. See, our status quo governor has decided that Washington knows better how to manage you and your family's health care than you do. And even now, after months and months of examples of what a catastrophic mistake Obamacare is, our status quo governor pushes for Obamacare expansion. Join with me in telling our status quo governor to reject Washington's priorities and to put the patients of New Hampshire first.
That's right. Yeah.
But what about our students? What about education in New Hampshire? My platform is designed to empower students, engage parents, and to reward teachers. We will embrace school choice and alternative schooling methods. We will leverage technology.
No Common Core.
Yes, no Common Core. We will leverage technology to open students to possibilities beyond what the local school could reasonably offer. We will amplify parents' voices so that they finally have a greater influence on our school system. We will pay the best teachers more for their effort, and we will incentivize others to improve. We will ensure that students are competent at real-life skills and not just taking tests. Education spending over the last 10 years has increased by over $1 billion. What have the taxpayers of New Hampshire gotten for that? We've gotten a decreasing enrollment. We've gotten lower test scores. And yet, what does our status quo governor propose? She proposes more of the same. Let's keep doing this. More reckless spending, less local control, and fewer options for schooling.
Reduce tuition for illegals.
I say that New Hampshire students deserve better than the status quo.
Yeah!
I have a Workers' First plan, and the goal of this plan is to make New Hampshire the #1 business state in the country. It is a set of proposals which will roll back regulation, roll back taxes, and incentivize companies to raise wages the right way, to hire more workers, and to move to our great state. It will get government out of the way of business.
That's right.
It'll stop interfering in the personal lives of business owners in this state.
Amen.
We will reinvigorate the small, family-owned Main Street business that is the backbone of New Hampshire's economy. We are going to reduce regulation on farms, allowing for the sale of wholesome, natural products. Homer's a part of the Farm Bureau back there, so a little excited. We will encourage those who have just given up on finding a rewarding career by expanding opportunities in the marketplace. We will create a safe harbor in New Hampshire for New Hampshire-based companies from the NSA by limiting the collection of metadata and pushing back on out-of-control spying on corporations and citizens. We will remove harmful regulations, keeping entrepreneurs from new, prospering markets. We will extol the virtues of hard work and self-reliance. And we will keep the students we paid for to educate here in New Hampshire working, prospering, and giving back to the communities that gave so much to them. We are going to expand our workforce, and we are going to close the skills gap. We need to rebuild New Hampshire's manufacturing base, and we need to explode New Hampshire's startup community. The status quo is not working for New Hampshire.
No, it's not.
Let's get back on track by putting workers first. Woo!
Yeah.
Our state is going in the wrong direction, and our status quo governor is not willing to stand up to outside influences to change that. I am willing to do something about it.
Woo!
I have the courage and innovative ideas to take on our state's biggest challenges and to solve them. I ask for your support in this effort. I need your help. This is not something that I can do on my own, but it's going to take a lot of hands and a lot of hard work. In fact, there are 3 things tonight that I'd love for you to do. We're going to do a little show and tell here, okay? A little interactive speech. The first thing, when you came in tonight, we had a table set up. We were asking for your names and contact information. I can't overestimate how important it is, folks, that you take a few minutes, fill out the form. Even though you may know me, you know I have your email address or something like that, we need to start this out, right? We need to be able to contact you. We want to be able to tell you about events. We want to tell you about things that are happening. Number 2, folks, this is a large campaign, and we're going to need all the financial resources that we can get. And I'm asking you tonight to consider writing a check tonight. right away. But mostly, I'd like to try something with you. Jeff mentioned in my introduction that I'm the founder of a company called Grassloot. And one of the things that we've developed at Grassloot with my two partners who are here tonight is the ability to text to donate. So I figure, why don't we do a live interactive demonstration? How many of you have smartphones? How many of you have smartphones? Take them out. Take them out. Everybody take out your smartphone. Hold it up here. Hold it up. Hold it up. Let's hold it up. You can open up your text messaging application. Open up the text app. Okay? And you can type in this number, 603. This is real. You can do this. 603-317-5784. And text the number 5 to that number.
You have to repeat the number. Yeah, repeat the number, Andrew.
603-317-5784. All right? 317-5784. And you'll be entered into our database, and you can complete the transaction there and submit some money to the campaign, okay? We can do it instantly. Part of what we're going to do as a campaign is we're going to introduce new technology into the Republican Party and into the state of New Hampshire. We're going to be offering technologies to candidates up and down the ticket. You see, this is not just a campaign for governor. This is a campaign for the state of New Hampshire. As your candidate for governor, we are going to work as hard as we can to make sure that we win as many executive councilor seats, as many state senate seats, as many state rep seats, and in fact, we want to be active at the local level. Tonight, actually, we have a couple of representatives who are going to be running for local state office. If you're running for state office, would you raise your hand? Or local office, I apologize, local office. Guys in the back running for Bedford office. It is important that we start to be involved in our local communities, filling empty slots on committees and boards, working for open state rep spots. It is absolutely critical to the state of New Hampshire that we fill the ballot with quality representatives who can get elected. Folks, I can't thank you enough for coming out tonight. I can't tell you how energized I am by your coming tonight. And it's energizing, I think, for all of us to be here. We can absolutely win this seat. Do not let those who you talk to tell you, oh, Hemingway's a nice little guy, but he's never going to win. How many times has that been told in political history? A lot of times. Joe Kenny's raising his hand. You know, David and Goliath is a story remember because David won. And you're not going to hear me mention this often, but I have two children, Morgan and Connor. And they are the most important things to me in the entire world. They're 6 and 4. And what sort of state do they have to look forward to? Will they have jobs in our state when they're ready to go to work? This is why we fight. This is why there is no opportunity for surrender. This is why we must press on. This is why I am running for governor. And I'm asking you tonight to please, please support me in this. I look forward to meeting each one of you as we move forward. And I can't say again enough. Thank you so much for all that you've done.
So some of you guys with your smartphones, once again the number is 603-317-5784. It's going to bring you over. It's a really cool app. I love this thing. So make sure you bring it over. But while you get your smartphones out, here's even something better you can do. Andrew's going to mingle around. Ron Noyes is going to start up a little bit. We don't want you guys to leave. Enjoy some refreshments. Shake hands with our fine gubernatorial candidate. Ask him a few questions, but I want you to take that smartphone out. I want you to take your picture with Andrew, and I want you to post it up on your Facebook page. And I want you to let everyone know who the next governor of New Hampshire is going to be. Just keep those cameras hanging, take pictures.
Hemingway! Live free!
Hashtag live free.
Live free! That is not the worst of evils. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, greet your next governor, take a picture with him, post it up on Facebook, go over, donate some money, and keep donating because we've got to get Maggie Hassan out of the corner office. Have fun.